Hey Finxter, what's up? It's Chris, founder of Finxter.com, and in today's video you're going to learn about the Python subtraction operator. So in its most basic form, basically, let's have a couple of examples first. You can use a subtraction operator like this. So it's this minus operator. It has a left and the right operand, and you basically can put in as operands, you can use integers or floating point numbers in the most basic form. But we will also examine more advanced form of the subtraction operator. For example, to use your own custom sub method, so dunder, it's called a magic method, that you can define on your own object, so that you can have arbitrary objects like person subtracting persons from each other or something like this. So you can do crazy stuff with the subtraction operator, and we are going to learn all of this in this video. Okay, so let's rush over a couple of basic examples. So say we use a print statement to calculate the sum of the result of 3 minus 2. So we have 1, obviously. You can also apply it, so you can also perform like difference computations so that the resulting value will be -1. You can also use the parenthesis operator in combination with it. So for example, you can calculate -99 minus parenthesis -1, for example, yeah, which is like the same as -99 plus 1. So we have -98 should be the result. So if you run this, you see -98 is the result. Okay, and this is like in its most basic form. But what happens if you use floating point numbers and integer numbers in a mixed fashion? Does it work? Actually, yes, it works. So we can, for example, perform the following: 3.0 minus 1. So on the left we have a floating point number indicated with this dot here, and we can like calculate, use as another operator an integer as well. And now you should know that floating point is infectious. So if at least one operand is floating point, the result will be floating point as well. So if you, for example, have a long computation consisting of integers, for example, like this, something like this. So we have a long computation, only integers here, but one number is floating point, then the result of this operation will be a floating point number as well. And you can see this example here. Okay, and this is true like if on any position. So for example, even if the first operand is an integer and the second operand is a floating point, the result will be floating point as well. And you can also use the subtraction operator on different on other data types that have nothing to do with numerical values. So for example, on sets. So say you can have a set, say 1, 2, 3, and we can have another set t consisting of 2 and 3, and now we can perform s minus t. We say this operator is overloaded. Yeah, so the result is 1 because we simply remove those elements from the second set from the first set. Okay, so it's the set difference operator, and basically the minus operator is just it is overloaded operator. So it depends. It has different semantics depending on the operand's data type. And how does it actually work? So let's dive right into the magic method. It's called magic method that allows you to define your own. So define your own data types, for example, data type basket, and these data types can then be used as a basis for a subtraction operation, okay, or for difference computation. Okay, so what I'm doing now, it's just creating a basket. So we create a class basket, and we create a constructor. So the class takes one variable goods and assigns it to the attribute with the same name. And now we can create like a basket of say we pass a set into it, and we create a basket of with 3 goods like coffee, banana, and bread, something like this, and we pass it into the constructor. So this basically internally calls the init method, and this set becomes the argument goods. So we assign this argument goods, we assign it to our attribute, So self is simply a reference to the instance on which it is called, and we associate the attribute called goods with the name goods to it, and we assign the values stored in this argument goods. So we have two goods names here in this namespace. The first one is the argument, the second one is the attribute, and yeah, we assign the argument to the attribute. Okay, so now we have one basket, and say we create another basket called to remove. For example, we may have eaten those elements from our first basket, say bread, and let's add another one, say banana as well. So now if we remove bread and banana, we expect that we have a basket with only one good, which is coffee, right? So we want to basically create a new basket, updated basket, from our original basket minus to remove. Okay, so this is like, now we use a minus operator on our custom data type, as you can see, and performing this, it does not work yet. So we see, let's maybe print updated basket, and we print the goods of our updated basket, and now we would expect that the result is coffee, right? Because yeah, intuitively we want to actually remove the elements, but it doesn't work. Okay, it tells me unsupported operand types for minus, basket, and basket. So basket has not yet defined a way to subtract two baskets from each other. So we need to define this in our class using the magic method called sub, and we take a reference to ourself on which you call it. So each time you call a method, basically you call it on a given object. This is on the object on which you call this is called self, and then you also have a reference to the other object, and then we simply return a new basket. And what do we put into this new basket? So basically we take self.goods and perform set minus operation, actually removing all elements from the other basket's goods. Okay, so this is now set operation here, and set operation, the minus is defined for set operation, so this should work beautifully now. So if you run the code, you will see the result is coffee, and we have removed this type error because we now have defined the minus operation on our custom data types. And this is actually how you can define your own custom operators on your own custom classes or data types, and allow arbitrary operators like the minus operator, multiplication operator, add operator, and so on to work. And yeah, these are called magic methods. Good. So then a common question is, can we subtract lists in Python? So say we have a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like this. We have another list 2, say 1, 2, 3, and we want you to calculate the difference. So our first attempt is to do list 1 minus list 2. Okay, we would expect that the result is a list with values 4, 5, 6. And now we print the difference. So what do you think? Would this work? So if you run the code, it actually tells me unsupported operand types for minus, list, and list. So the difference is not defined for lists. Why? Because I think because it is not semantically clear. It is not explicitly clear what to do, and Python is always for explicit representation of operators. So if the operator is very clear what he has to do, like in the set difference operator, then it is defined. But for lists, it's not clear, because lists can have duplicates, and the lists have an order of elements. So you actually don't know what does it mean. So do we remove all duplicates or only one element from the original list, and so on? Okay. Do we remove elements only in the same order or elements in an arbitrary order? And this is actually, it's a bit fuzzy, and therefore Python doesn't just implement any method. But if you want to like, if you assume that you just want to basically remove all elements if they already are in the first list, then you can define your own like one-liner. By the way, if you're interested in one-liner, then check out my book, Python One-Liners. It's a great book, appeared in 2020. So great, I say great, but it is, of course, I mean, I would say it's the best book we have written at Finxter, because we have spent like thousands of hours editing this book and improving the book, and yeah, the quality is really good. And you can also see it on Amazon. You see it's like, it has one of the best rated Python books in the space. Okay, so you can create a simple one-liner to accomplish your goal of calculating the list difference. It is called, like, in one use list comprehension. List comprehension has the following forms. We have an expression and we have a context. So we create a list basically from a given context. So our expression is simple. It's the identity expression x. Now we need to define the context. What is x? We go for x in list 1. Okay, so we go over all elements in list 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we put them into our list. But now we don't want to have all of them. Some we don't want to have. So basically we can restrict the context by adding another if clause, if not x, in list 2. Okay, so this one is the if condition. This is like our filtering condition to further restrict the context. So we only add x to our new list if it is not already in list 2. Okay, because if it is in list 2, so we go over all elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we add them. But if they are in list 2, we basically remove them. This is our perceived semantics of the list difference operator. So we remove them if they are in the second list. So therefore, if they are not in the second list, only then we add them. If they are in the second list, they would be removed and we wouldn't add them. Okay, in the first place. So now this implements your desired method. You see the result is now 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I think that's enough for today's video. Thanks for listening to this video and see you in the next video. Bye.